Hello guys, welcome back to CeeFashion Academy. As you can see, this is the continuation of the short pencil skirt. Please, if you've not watched the cutting part, please I want you to make sure you check it out in the description box, or you make sure you finish this video, watch it to the end. You will see the cutting part, and you make sure you click on it and watch it. So guys, I taught many things in this video. As you can see, I also taught how to make sure that your bolt comes out very well. Like I taught many things. So please make sure you click on that subscription box and make sure you like this video. Thank you, and may God bless you.
Okay, so now, as you guys can see, before we go to our sewing machine, as you can see, we've actually cut out the lining. Look at the lining here. We cut out both the front and the back. Are you seeing it? This is the lining. And I also had to do something. Now look at it. I had to use my rule to also mark out the that, because I'm going to be sewing it on my machine. Are you seeing it? This is the point where we actually notched. Now mark out the 5 inches. Now this 5 inches is the dart length. How did we get the dart length? Remember, the original hip line was 7 inches. So when you step up by 2, you get what? 5. Please make sure you do the same thing on every side, both the lining. As you can see, the one for the lining. Okay, so I'm actually doing the one for the material. Okay, so after you are done, next thing you are going to be doing before you go to the table is to make sure, now look at it, whenever because we'll be joining both this even down part of the material and the lining. So in other words, we don't need to leave it like this. We need to find a way to reduce the lining. So you can reduce 1 inch to 2 inches. This is dependent on the allowance which you actually added to the skirt. Remember, we added 2 inches. So if I still choose to use 2 inches to reduce my lining, that means I'm very much correct. Do you understand what I mean? See, after the skirt length, we added extra 2 inches. So if I still use 2 inches here, I'm still very much correct. So I'll be deducting with 2 inches. Let me use 2 inches for the sake of this particular tutorial. Remember, this skirt is a very short skirt. Okay. So now I've marked 2 inches. Look at it. Take your rule and then connect. After you are done connecting, make sure you do something. Get the back part. Look at it. And then you do what? You cut it off. So you can see, make sure you cut it off. So after you are done doing that, we are going to the table, we are going to the machine in order to do what? Sew. But we'll first start with the dart. We are going to be sewing out the dart. So let's go to the machine. So now, as you can see, we are going to be sewing out the dart first. This is the back part, so let's sew out the dart first. So in order to sew out the back, at this very point, fold it like this. Are you seeing this line? So when you fold it like this, remember the dart is what? Half inch. So on that half inch, look at it. Look at how we're sewing it. Are you seeing it? The half inch. Okay. Make sure you back stitch. Are you seeing it? So as to make sure that the stitch is firm. Then slow like this. Then till you get to that point. Are you seeing it? When you get to the point, make sure you back stitch again. Okay. Then after you are done, take your scissors and then cut it off. So as you can see, I've actually stitched this one. Are you seeing it? This is how a dart's supposed to look like. It's not when some persons, when they sew their dart, you can even put a pen from a hole coming out from their dart. Do you understand? So we sew a dart like this. Look at it. Half inch from here to here. Are you seeing it? Half inch. And as you're sewing, you're going down just the same way I marked it while I was cutting it. You can go back and check that one. Are you seeing? Then when you get here, get very close. Then do what? Back stitch here. That is how you do it. So this is exactly what we are going to be doing on every other one. So let me work on the front part again for those that did not really see this one very well. As you can see, I'm done with this particular one. So let's work on this one. So as you can see, I'm done sewing out all the darts, both on the material and on the lining. So next thing we are going to do is to join both the material and lining together. There are different ways in order to couple a pencil skirt, but for the sake of this particular tutorial, I'm going to use one of the simplest methods and commercial method to couple it. Okay, as you can see, now all you need to do is what? Take the right part of the fabric and the lining, place 2 of them together. You're seeing it? This is the front part, this is the right part, and this is the wrong part. So now take this one also, the right part of the lining face here. So we are first going to be sewing the down part first. That is what we're doing. Sew the down part first before any other part. Now as you can see, place two of them like this. Okay. Now when you look at this, you notice that the material is longer here. Yes, that's actually because we shortened it while we are cutting it. Okay. So now place it like this. And sometimes you notice that the lining will be longer than the material. All you need to do is to make sure that even if it's longer, make sure that whatever that is remaining here is the same thing that is also remaining here. Are you seeing it? Okay. Then after that, all you need to do is to sew with 1/2 inch. Sew both of them with 1/2 inch. Okay guys, as you can see, after you are done sewing, next thing you need to do is to open it up and then top stitch. Now we are going to be top stitching. Now look at how I opened it. See, when I open it like this, are you seeing it? You place it like this. Now notice something, that when you open up here, the lining, are you seeing it? The stitch is coming towards the lining, the part of the lining. Are you seeing it? Please, whenever you are top stitching, make sure it's not going towards the material. Are you seeing it? Make sure that the stitch, the seam allowance, are you seeing it, is coming towards the lining. Okay. So and we'll be also stitching on top of the lining. Now look at it. You are going to be stitching on top of the lining. First of all, make sure you back stitch so as to hold the stitch firm, and do one stitch with 1/8. You can also stitch with 1/4 inch. Okay. So as you can see, after we are done stitching, next thing we are going to be doing is to stitch the side. So in order to stitch the side, see what you are going to be doing. Place it like this. Okay. Make sure that it is equal at the upper part. Are you seeing it? Because we'll be sewing from the upper part, not from the down part. Then when you placed it, knowing that it is equal at the upper part, you will now notice that the material is coming over to the back. That is actually what we wanted. So that's why we had to shorten the lining, so that when you're wearing this skirt, on no account will the lining come out. Okay. So now next thing you are going to do, as it is like this, make sure you sew 1/2 inch. You can as well use 1/4 inch, just depending on whatever thing you want to close your skirt with. Okay, as you can see, after you are done, next thing you are going to do exactly the same thing on the other side. Make sure that both are equal at the upper part. Okay, then you sew gently with 1/4 inch or 1/2 inch, depending. So as you guys can see, after you are done, next thing you are going to be doing is what? You are going to be turning it out, turning it to the front. Now as you can see, as we've turned it to the front, next thing you are going to be doing is what? You are going to be ironing it on the ironing table. Then also, but before you do that, you can as well do what? Use your stitch and close out this very part. This is the waistline. Are you seeing it? Use your stitch and close it out. Okay guys, so next thing we need to do is to go to the ironing table and then iron it out. So you do this exact thing on the back. You know, the back is actually divided into two. So we do it on the first one, then we do on the back. So let me still take my time and do it on the first one, so as for you to know that there's the exact thing you do on the second one. So next thing we have to do now is to take all of them and then go to the ironing table and iron it properly. It's when our ironing, make sure you don't dirty your fabric. Else you can, in fact, you can even find a piece of material, a neat piece of material, place on top of your material before placing the iron, so as to achieve a neat and better finishing. Okay, yes, as you can see, we are done ironing it out. As you can see, this is the back part. We placed it front part of the material to front part of the material, descent into this particular one. So next thing I now had to do now was to place the front one, as you can see, making sure that it is equal on the sides. Now leaving the back with its what? 2 inches zipper allowance. Okay, so next thing we are going to do, we are going to be coupling it. So how are we going to couple it? Look at it. First of all, if you like, you can actually remove this one. So let's start from the front. First of all, what you do is impute the circumference as usual. The waist circumference is 28 divided by 4, you see, 7. Okay, 7. So make sure you mark out what? 7 inches. Are you seeing it? So now on the hip, how do you even get the hip? By still trying to get your 7 inches. Are you seeing it? 7 inches, that is the hip length. So now we have to impute the circumference of the hip, which is 36 divided by 4 is 9 inches. Okay, mark out 9 inches. Then for this particular part, we all know how I actually did it. By taking whatever thing you have on your hip, step back with 1 inch. Okay, so next thing we need to do is to connect. Make sure you connect. Okay, so now that I've connected, next thing I'm going to be doing now, I'm going to be using pin. I'm going to be pinning it here. The essence of pinning it here along this line is to make sure that I duplicate it on this side. This is the easiest method of duplicating measurements. After you are done placing the pin, now turn the back. As you can see, then on this particular point, use it and trace in order to get the shape. Okay, so next thing you need to do is to remove the pin. So when you remove the pin, there is this other method that I also use. I try to cross-check to know whether the measurement is correct. And how do I cross-check this? On a very good day, you can leave it like this and go and couple. See what I mean? You can immediately go and sew it out. Are you seeing it? Take one part of the back, place it and then sew. Take the other part. Are you seeing it? Place it here and there. So that is what we are going to be doing now. But I still want to teach us how to cross-check to know whether your measurement is correct. Please, this method helps us whenever we finish making any garment. And in fact, we don't even need to be afraid of the person testing it. So that, okay, now look at it. We need to cross-check. Since the waist is 28 inches, that is divided by 4 was what? 7. That was what we used. Shade? Okay. 7, shade? Okay. So now, since we've opened it, are you seeing it? It was folded like this and we opened it now. Now we don't need to divide it by 4 any longer. We need to divide by 2. We use this to cross-check whether our measurement is correct. So waist, which is 28 divided by 2, is going to give us what? 14. So now check whether it is up to 14. If it is up to 14, then know that your measurement is correct. Are you seeing it? It is up to 14. So we also use the same method to cross-check the hip. The hip, which is 36 divided by 2, it will give us what? 18. So check whether it is correct. If it is 18, that means it is actually what? Correct. So this is how you cross check. Are you seeing it? So after that, we are going to be sewing. Assuming it's not correct, you have to correct it here and now. Do you understand? If it is more than, you have to bring your hand inside, making sure that whatever you enter in here is the same thing you enter in here. Are you seeing it? Okay. So now let's go and couple. See how you couple. Are you seeing it? Take this one, place towards this way. Are you seeing it? This is one part of the back. Take it and place. Then go and sew following this line here. Do the same thing on this other side. So as you can see, next thing we need to do is to take our iron, open it out and iron out the same part. Please, this part is very, very important. It helps. So after you are done ironing, next thing you need to do is to look at it, fold it into 2 again. Are you seeing it? This one is the zipper part. Are you seeing it? Fold it into 2 again. Please use that same method that we actually used to replace the measurement again. That is by dividing it into 2. So let's do that. The waist, which is 28 divided by 2 is 14. So from here, mark out your 14 inches. Do the same thing on the hip, which is 36 divided by 2 is going to be giving us 18. Mark out 18 inches. Okay, so the same thing, you proceed on the down part. Now look at how I'll be joining it. Look at how I'll be doing the joining. Are you seeing it? I'll be entering inside here a little bit, so as for it to give it shape, so that the butt will not be making it to be coming out much, or so that the butt will not be over lifting your skirt up. Okay, so I'm going to be sewing here, but I want to show you something. This part is the hip line. Are you seeing it? Okay, so as I'm sewing it, remember what I told us? The zipper is going to stop exactly on the hip line, or 1 inch above the hip line. Okay guys, as you can see, we are done sewing it out. Look at it, we've actually closed the back. This is the front. Okay, so next thing we are going to be preparing the band. So I'm going to show you guys how I actually prepare this band. So in order to show you how I prepare this band, now look at it. Let me open up everything. You see that this is actually 4 inches by width. This is 4 inches by width. Are you seeing it? So you now cut out 4 inches by width. Then the length, whatever the circumference of your waist is. You understand? Let's say our circumference of our waist is 28 inches. Now, please make sure you add not less than 5 inches to it. 28 plus 5 is what? 32 inches. Okay? 28 plus 5. 33 inches. Okay. So now it means that I will make the length not less than what? 33 inches. Now by me looking at this one, you see that it is more than 33 inches. That means I'm on the safer side. Do you understand? So you shouldn't make it be less than 33 inches. Okay. So after you are done cutting it out, as you can see, take an interfacing. That is, you can use your soft gum stick or hard gum stick. Take it and gum it like you are seeing here. Are you seeing it? So after you are done doing that, the next thing you need to do is to fold out ½ inch here. Are you seeing it? Fold out ½ inch first. So after you are done folding out ½ inch, then you now fold it again. Are you seeing it? Making sure that as you are folding it, please don't fold it to the extent that it will close out everything. No, fold it and make sure you remain ½ inch. Are you seeing it? On all sides. Then after doing that, next thing you need to do is to iron it out. Okay, so we are going to be fixing this band on this particular skirt. So let's go to the machine and fix it out. Then after we are done fixing it, we are now going to be putting the zip. Yeah. So as you can see, I'm going to be losing out this side. That's why I said we should first of all sew out this zipper allowance part with a loose stitch, so that you can easily lose it out to the where the zip is going to stop. Yes. So after that, take this like this. Are you seeing it? Now, some persons might be thinking of what's the reason why we left this ½ inch here. Maybe some might be like, we are supposed to leave ½ inch. Now, the reason why I'm leaving this ½ inch, now look at it. As I will be sewing, I will keep it in like this. Now, I will not sew it, making sure that both of them are equal here. No, I will have to extend. Are you seeing it? Having excess here, because I'll still be closing it out. Now, I'll place it like this. And I'll be sewing with what? Not ½ inch. I'll be sewing with the ½ inch. Look at it. I left ½ inch, but I will not be sewing with the ½ inch. I'll be sewing with the what? ½ inch. Now look at it. If I actually sew with ½ inch, there's something there. When you turn it like this, here is good. But at the end of the day, this one is not going to overlap this. Thereby, it's not going to be giving us a neat finishing. So that's why I'll be sewing with ½ inch. Now let me sew ½ inch and show you how it comes out. That is the benefit of leaving ½ inch and sewing what? ½ inch. Okay, so look at it now. Now as we are done sewing it out, look at the magic here. When you close it now, are you seeing it? It's giving you a neat finish. Are you seeing it? Like it's actually overlapping. Look at it. It's overlapping. When you remove that ½ inch, are you seeing? You'll be seeing this thing. Are you seeing it? It's overlapping. What is the meaning of this overlapping? Look at it. And when I sew, okay, I'm going to be showing us. Let's first of all make sure we finish it out. Okay, in order to finish up this our work, in order to give it, so notch here. When you notch here, please, why I'm doing all these things, make sure we get a neat finishing. Now turn it the other way like this, then sew out. After you are done sewing it, make sure you do what? Turn it out. Are you seeing it? Here is actually neatly finished. Are you seeing it? Do exactly the same thing on the other side, which is this side. This excess, make sure you cut it off before you start doing that. Notch. and then do the same thing we did on this one. So now next thing you need to do, this is a hemming gum. As you can see, take the hemming gum, make sure you put it inside here, then you do what? Iron it out. The essence of this hemming gum is to make sure that the band is stable while you are sewing, so that you achieve a better finishing. Okay, so after you are done ironing, as you can see, the hemming gum is well placed and the band is okay at this moment. Next thing we are going to be doing is we are going to be sewing. So you can either sew in between the seams, are you seeing it, from here down here, if you really want it to be invisible, or you can sew on top here, are you seeing it, in form of top stitching. You can actually, so anyone you want is very much okay. So let's go and sew. Okay guys, look at it. For me, I'm going to be sewing in between the seams. Please, the simplest one is sewing on top of this. Do you understand? But I'm going to be using this one for the sake of this tutorial. Sew in between the seam. Make sure you place it very well. Okay guys, after you are done, now when you open the bag, you notice something, that we are sewing here, which is not part of the band, and at the end of the day, it's sewing on top of the band at the back. This is the reason why we had to sew half inch, whereby we have quarter inch, so as to make sure that it overlaps, so that when you open it like this, everything will come out neatly done. Do you understand? Okay, so after that, next thing we are going to do, let's put the zip. Now, like I told us, we are supposed to loosen out this part. Are you saying it? Making sure that this part is free for the zip. So now, in order to put the zip, make sure you turn the back. So in order to put a zip, now get a matching zip. As you can see, this zip is actually matching with the material, milk color. So next thing you are going to do, are you seeing this place that we first stitched? It will help us very well while putting this zip. Yes, because as you can see, here is well ironed. That means we'll be following this as a guide while putting our zip. Okay, so now please, for me, I like starting my zip from the down part, not from the upper part. So anywhere you sew, anyhow you sew your own. But if you don't know how to sew at all, please, I advise you follow this method. Now look at it. Make sure that the middle part of here is matching to the middle part. Okay, place it like this, and then you sew. So as you are sewing, make sure your stitch is going very close to this place, but not on top of it. So make sure you back stitch so as to make sure that the stitch is firm. Then at the end of the day, make sure you start following the what? The guide, and sew out your zip. When you sew small, you set it up again. Do you understand? Follow the guide. Make sure you place it on top of that line. Do the same thing till you reach at the upper part. Now after you are done stitching out here, so you can see, look at it now. Are you seeing it? Next thing we are going to be doing is to be stitching on this side. Now to stitch on this side is very simple. We still have to follow this guide, but see how we need to do it. Place it like this. Now let me show you something. Are you seeing it? Place it. Make sure that the two are equal. Are you seeing it? Now open up this one again. Open up this one again. And also make sure that, look at it very well. As you can see, these two are not equal. Are you seeing it? Make sure that both of them are also equal from the upper part. Yes, make sure that they're very equal. Okay. Then at the end of the day, you now start sewing. Okay guys, as you can see, we are done sewing it out. So now we are going to be locking out this particular zip. We're going to finish it, totally finish it. So make sure you open it up. Now see, next thing we are going to do. This one is very simple. Now look at it, and it's very essential for this zip. Look at it, as it is like this. Push this one inside. Are you seeing it? When you push it inside, then next thing you are going to be doing is what? Place it like this. Now let me repeat it again. Like this. Push it inside and do what? Place it down like this. Are you seeing it? So at the end of the day, I will now be top stitching on top of the material, thereby safeguarding the zip. Now I am done. I can as well do what? Take my scissors and then cut it off. So let's work on the second part. For those that did not see the other one. As you can see this one like this, just put it inside. Are you seeing it? See, I'm placing it like this. It's not like this, so I'm placing it like this. So make sure you put this one inside and you do what? Turn it. Make sure you top stitch up top so as to safeguard the zip. So at the end of the day, cut this thing out and then iron it out. How do you iron? You iron it out by placing it on the ironing board and take your iron this place out. So as you can see, we are actually done with our skate. Look at it. We are done with our skate. Pencil skate. Neatly done. Okay. We are done with the skate. So that is it for today.